the ground. All right. Now this is, welcome. This is a posture exercise for our upper back. Now we're going to start with our elbows long and our hands on the foam roller. Or like I said, if you want to do this on the floor, you can. You're going to inhale and go up. And at first you might not go as high as you're going to be going. You're going to inhale and go up by pushing down on the roller and then lowering. Good. Inhale, come up. Woo. And just, notice, I can see you now. That would be a good view. Notice that you're pulling your belly in a little bit. Notice that your shoulder blades glide down the back. Notice that you may be feeling like you can go a little higher and go up. And Betty, you're fine. If you feel like you're not quite comfortable in the arms, you might like the roller down a little lower on your forearms as opposed to, see if that's just a tiny bit more. It looks better. Good. Good job. All right. Now, the next time that you're up, you're going to stay up, and I like to just scan the neck, make sure it's comfortable. In other words, it's not excessively creased where the skull meets the lower, where the skull meets the C1 occiput, where it meets the cervical spine. Take a breath into your upper back. Hold about 3 more counts. And then lower yourself down. We're going to do 2 more of those. Hold. So get ready. Breathe in. Here we go. Press down. Good. Upper back. Gosh, everyone looks so good. Yep. Inhale. Nice. You look like you even got higher with the breath, and then lower down. And then inhale, come back up. You do have a little contraction in your glute and hamstring. You're just not gripping so hard in your glute that your bones feel jammed. Breathe here into the upper back. You feel the breath expand your rib cage. And then lower yourself down. Now we're going to put a child's pose in here so that we just stretch the back out. I'm also going to pull the toes under to get a foot stretch. You can use the hands to push into the floor. And then come back down. Now this time, there's no reason for this. We're going to get rid of that for a moment, the foam roller. Let your hands come beside your hips. Take an inhale and lift up your back. Now your legs are up too. And you're going to feel like when you breathe, you go up. And when you breathe, when you exhale, you go down a little bit. You breathe in, you go up. Good. Your hands are off the mat, that's right. And act like someone's pulling your arms down towards your feet. So you have this really long neck and trap. And then take a breather. We're going to do that again, although if you want to put your hands at your low back and hold the hands, you can do that. Or if you need to just hands beside your pelvis, that's fine. Breathe in, lift. Lift, breathe, and lower for a moment. Here we go. This time, if you would like to add on, you can interlace the other way. You lift up your back, and if you want to add a little flutter with your thighs, like you're swimming, yep, there's the hamstrings. And then, Betty, what happens when you chin tuck just the tiniest bit? Is that, yep, it looks better too. Yep. That looks great. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then let your arms be a pillow for your head. Now you're gonna lift up the right leg all by itself and then the left leg all by itself. And I'm gonna give some cues while you keep going. When you do this, your leg all by itself should be getting higher range of motion than when you try 2 at a time. So take advantage of the fact that we're only doing 1 at a time. The pelvis does not rock right or left. It stays stable. Try to lift up your leg as much as your hip flexor of that leg will allow. 1 at a time. Nice. Now, if you want to add on with that, release your arms so that they're in a field goal post or a V, and you go right arm, left leg lift, left arm, right leg lift, and then you're gonna do, this is swimming, lift up, and if you would like to make it harder, all the limbs are off the floor, and then you continue that swim. About 20, inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. That's a percussive breath. And take a child pose and push back. I'm gonna pull the toes under again, the heels are straight up. Press back, nice. Inhale. Take your hands or your knuckles on the mat and take a little cat-cow. Cole, you might like your forearms on your arc. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Now if you want this harder, lift up your knees and do the cat-cow. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Now I'm going to use the foam roller on the other side. This side is, let me touch this for just a moment, and you're going to take the forearms down. The foam roller is on the shin. I like to toe in because of the flesh. It's easier on my flesh. Now, if you hold here and this feels really good and you want to add on, you could pull your knees underneath you. Again, I'm toeing in slightly. And then you can extend back to a plank. Now bend your knees and extend. 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 Pull it under. Pull it under. 2. And then 1. Now, we're going to turn to the side. And you can do a side plank, and your feet are stacked or staggered, you choose. And again, if you want to do this on the floor, you can. Come up and hold your stable plank. 5, 4, 3, good. 2, stay here if you would care to add on. Draw a huge circle with your arm, 5 each way. Good, this should feel fabulous on that top arm. And then the other direction. Breathe in, and then we're going to lower down your hip. Let's switch sides. And forearm down, stacked or staggered feet. Lift up and hold 5, where you establish that your shoulder blades down the back, your head's in against an imaginary wall, your hips are adequately lifted so everybody looks good. If you care to add on, big 5, 4, 3, good, 2, and we're going to go the other way. Really feel a huge range of motion. 3, 4, woo, and then 5. Really good, guys. Lower your hip. Nice. We're going to take this foam roller on this end, the foot end, the shin end, and our forearms down on the other. We're going to take a little diagonal inchworm. And if you need a backup plan or a modification, just do a plank. Now, when you're ready, toe in slightly. I like the roller closer to my knee side. Bend the knees to the left and then do a plank. And then bend the knees to the right and do a plank. Bend the knees to the left and do a plank. Bend the knees to the right and do a plank. And left and right. And then take 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now take a moment. Terrific job. We're going to do a little hip hike here. We'll do 10 of these, and it's where you hinge at your pelvis, kind of like a dolphin. And hi, Mary Catherine. Hey, come on in. Then lift your hips. Hi, Catherine. And 2, and 3. Good. And again, you're toeing in. 4. That way you're rolling out your muscle. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Really good. And we're going to take it to a side plank. This is going to be on the forearm if you'd like. And remember, you can always, let me grab this real quick. You can always double up that mat if your bone is sensitive. Come on to a side plank with the foam roller. Stacked or staggered. Go up. Nice. Now we're going to add a variation if you would like. You can do a tree pose. You can even do a tree pose on your your calf or your inner thigh. 10. Try to hold balanced. Good. Make sure your hip is lifted. It's harder, isn't it? There you go. Yep, lift that hip. You can feel that conscious effort, right, Michelle? There's a little hip lift. Yep, I know it's harder. Lower your hip. You're doing great. Now let's do the other side. Switch everything around. And it's just a forearm prop, so it's comfortable. I don't like the bone to feel uncomfortable for a moment in your practice. So you can really concentrate on the muscles and the form. You're not distracted by a pain that shouldn't be there. Okay, or a discomfort. 1, 2, side plank with the tree. 3, head back. 4, 5, 6. Feel your hip is strong. 7. Good, that side looks easier for you, Michelle. Isn't that neat? 9. And then 10, now you're going to lower that hip with care. Really good, guys. And then let's just take a brief reprieve. Inner thigh, this is a bound angle, and just take a moment to relax your inner thighs, to relax your nervous system, kind of starting over. 5, 4, 3. You should feel the bound angle muscles are the pectineus of the inner thighs, short inner thigh muscles. All right, grab a sip if you haven't already. And then you can take a shin position. And if you like a knee prop, you can put your knee on that. Let me get this out of the way for a moment. Take your foot out. Good. And we're going to do a little pattern. You're going to go down away from the extended leg and up. Just 5 of these. Dip and up. Inhale and exhale. Down and up. We have one more. Now we're going to add the rotation. So dip down and rotate towards that leg. Dip, rotate towards that leg. Dip, rotate. 4, rotate. Now find a place that feels like a good challenge to pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now the hand can come down either on your mat or a block and reach your other arm up. Lift up through this hip. Lift up through this upper back. Lengthen your elbow like someone's pulling it. Inhaling, stretching, stretching, stretching. Lift that hip up. And then with your strong core and your arm, come up and over. Now other side. Ooh, yeah. Breathe in. Act like someone's pulling you. You can even pull you. 10. Can add rotation. 9. Good. There's a hip opening here. You're not letting yourself be folded. 5. Breathe in. Stretch. Good, good, good. Let that shin down. Now we're going to do the other side. And one leg's out. Okay, fingertips near your temples. You're going to do 5. This is a pattern. And what's really good for neuroplasty, brain health, is to memorize patterns and coordinations. So think about what you're doing. See if you can challenge yourself to know what's coming next. And when you do this with exercise, because there's more blood flow to the brain, it's more beneficial than doing something sedentary, like a crossword puzzle for the brain. So it's all good, but with exercise, it's a little bit more potent. All right, take 2 more. Challenging the brain with movement. All right, now we did 5 little pulses, 5 in a place that feels like a challenge. 3, 2. Now we're going to do a couple stretches. Hand come down, hand, leg back, arm up. Lift up through your heart. Feel this hip. 10. Ooh, add the breath. Always add some. See if you can lengthen your top elbow. Take that inhale. And then as you exhale, we're going to use that strong core, that strong arm up and over. Good. And long elbow if you can. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, reach, roll, rotate's fun. 9, and then 10. Really good job. We're going to sneak in a stretch here, and then we'll go right back to business of strengthening. This is the posture Malasana. The other way you could do this is to lie on your back and hold on to each foot. Somewhere between those is to put a yoga block under your tush. I'm stretching out the hands too by pulling the hands low. If you can do that, great. Everybody's doing so good. We're going to add another hand stretch down, fingers, down, fingers. Good. You can reach one hand forward and pull the other way. Yeah. It's if you want to, Shireen. Yep. Then we're getting the other side too. Nice. All right, guys. And then we're going to, look, I'm already to the ground. Grab a sip and we're going to grab that foam roller. We're going to do a little abdominals. And it's going to be a bit different. Let me show you a thing that you can do, a modification, an exercise you can do if you ever need any modifications for your neck or your spine. But you can always do bridge with this. So we'll just do 5 together. And then if you would like, you can take your legs long, your ankles or calves are on top of the roller, your arms go long. You exhale and you do 5 crunches where you bend your knees and you crunch your torso to it. Good. Inhale, stretch out, and exhale 4 and crunch. Inhale 3, and just remember you can always do bridges as well. 2. 1 more. Now this time we're going to add a small oblique rotation. So when you come up, bend your knees right, but take your arms left. Inhale. 2. Good. We're just going to do 6 of these. 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And then a full body stretch. Both feet go on top of the roller again, curl up and down. 5 reps, both feet. Bridging. Neck is soft. Now you can lift up a foot, right leg pointed toes, lift up your hips, keep the hips level, do 10 reps on this single bridge. Knee over the ankle. And then switch your feet on the foam roller. Lift up the other leg. Go 6 bridges. Hips are level. That's our goal. That's a glute medius strengthener. Breathe. Both feet go on the foam roller. And if you would like, push out and in with your foam roller. Hamstrings. Roll the foam roller out. Roll it in. Keep your hips level. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now lower down and take your legs long. Your knees do have a softness in them. Your calf ankle area is on the foam roller. Lift up your hips and lower. Lift up your hips and lower. There is a micro bend in your knees. We're doing 10 of these
4. You should feel the hamstrings. When you lower your hips, you never plop or just kind of let go with gravity doing the work. You control the muscle. Same thing when you sit in a chair. Same thing when you walk downstairs. So if you see anyone doing that, you can let that be a reminder that you're not going to do that yourself. You're not going to plop in a chair. You want to use your muscles till the end and protect those joints and protect that strength. That's when people fall or when they can hurt their knees just plopping. All right, so hold it up. 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Lower your hips. Take a hand to foot, happy baby, and pull your knees down. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hands to feet, let your knees go wide. This is like a little butterfly. And then we're going to add on the first way I'm going to do crisscross is just the legs. Your ribs are down and you connect the ribs to the floor while you pivot your piston your legs right and left. Now, if you care to add on, you can take your hands behind your head and add a rotation. Crisscross abdominals. Opposite is anterior oblique sling. So your obliques are working, your rectus abdominis are working. All right, pull your toes back. One more set, 10. When we pull our toes back like this, we're stretching through the calf. We're also strengthening the tibialis anterior and the extensor digitorum. So what does that do? It helps prevent shuffling and helps promote balance. And really good if you hike uneven terrain especially. Now relax for a minute and hug. And I would like to offer that your feet are on a table. Now, if you would like to add on, you can come up to a teaser, long knees. Inhale. If you're not quite able to do this, you can also bicycle the legs and that'll give you an abdominal workout. You could bicycle your way up to teaser. Or if you want it harder, come on up to teaser 2 more times. Good, breathe in and hold the pose, strike the pose, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Really good. Grab a sip. Perfect job, guys. Grab a sip. And we're going to do a little belly down block, which is thoracic again. So we won't need our foam roller since we used them earlier. We're going to do some things that don't require it. I want you to imagine you're doing a breaststroke in the water. You sweep the arms really big. You lift the spine for your breath. Sweep the arms out big. You can go all the way down to your thighs. Your scapula, healthy scapula, should glide, should move. They're not rigidly fixed on the back. Now we're going to add on a flutter kick, which is hamstrings and glutes. Lift up your thoracic spine. And these muscles, the erector spinae, critical for posture preservation. Some of my favorite movements because of how forward our body is in daily life. We have to go after these. We get to go after these exercises to complement and keep an upright posture. Keep that body balanced. All right, one more. Love it. All right, now this is just an informal release of tension. You can windshield wipe your legs. If you prefer, you can certainly do a child pose. I like to mix up the movements. Now we're going to do the bow pose. I've got my knees conveniently bent near my hands already. Reach you back, reach you back. Now if you can add both, if you can do both at the same time, go for it. If you need to do one at a time, that's fine. Breathe in and lift. Good. Your head does come along for the ride, but there's no tension in that neck. Yep, I think did you feel how you lifted your head a little bit cold? That was perfect. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. Recover for just a moment and decide if you're going to take that other foot or do a second set of both feet. So get ready. Here we go. Up.
and recover. Child pose. Now I'm going to offer something with this one. So you're in a child pose. If you want to pull the toes under, that's more foot stretch. If you want to come up on your shins, that's more foot stretch. If you want to bring your hands behind you and then lift your hips, that's more foot stretch. And 3 of the quads. So lift up, shoulders and chest, 5. Woo, isn't that nice? 4, 3, knees together if you want more stretch, Shireen, but if your knees won't do it, then that's okay. Just know where they are and kind of work on that over time. Really good. That was good. Yeah, I should show that. So if you want, please listen to your body. This can become hero pose. You can do this with a prop behind you. I'm going to show you real quick without it. So it looks like this. This is a yoga pose. But let's say you're like, nope, I don't want to go all the way back. You can do it with some type of prop. So just try it, whatever you're going to do for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then fire up your abs and come up. Really nice. And we're going to grab a sip, but then we're going to go back to some abs. You're doing so good. So we mix up some different kind of calisthenics with the Pilates and the yoga. Just getting on the floor, you can find an excuse like petting your dog is a great idea every day. Every day. All right, so this foam roller is going to go on the foot end of the mat. And we're going to do a hip hike, a diagonal pattern of a hip hike. So right, left, diagonal. So I'll show you. Your forearms are down. I like to toe in, so I'm on the muscle, not the bone. Then I can concentrate on the abs lifting slightly left, hips lift, knees are long, come back to a normal plank. Lift your hips slightly right, and then come down. This is like an oblique dolphin. Lift up, your hips are the articulation point, come down, your knees are long. Lift up, inhale, and up. And up. All right, guys, we're going to do 4 more. It's going to be wonderful. 4, 3, 2, lift, 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 and 1. Now pull the knees under and just take a breather. If you're like me, you might need to tuck in your mic. All right, we're going to do a little 4 points of light. This is a fun pattern. Fun. Operate is the main word. When you are ready, you go out to plank. You bend your knees underneath. Tilt right, center, tilt left, center, then go back to plank. Now your mind, your neuroplasty challenge, bend your knee, tilt left, center, tilt right. Now go long. Bend your knees, tilt right, center, left, center, go long. Bend your knees, left, center, right, center, go long, and then come out when you're ready. Nice job. I'm going to offer that we grab a sip again. You're doing great. I'm going to sneak in a big fat thoracic opener in the middle of all this. Let me show you what you can do with this. Your mat, excuse me, not your mat, your yoga block, if you have one, you may need it, you may not. Most people need it. It's behind you as if you're going to be using it as a pillow. So at first, find the roundest part of your back, the upper back roundedness is going to be our focus. We're going to get rid of it, right? Head back, arms out like a T or a Y. So your upper back, the part of you that you feel is most kyphotic, most round, somewhere near the scapula. You want to put that foam roller underneath. Most people will prefer a neck support like a pillow or like I have a yoga block on its side, although the yoga block's pretty cool because you can manipulate the angles, or maybe just a half yoga block. I'm built pretty thoracically concave. And my neck's long, so I can touch without any tension in my neck, but just please listen to your body. I'm just showing different ways. Upper back now gets the breath. Part of the posture preservation and posture restoration formula is passive thoracic extension. So this is a big player.
If one of your goals is to help the posture stay upright, or if you've already got rounded upper back, shoulders, then this one helps get it back. So breathe, breathe, breathe. Now your hand can go behind your head so that you're helping it come up. And then just take a moment to release the back on the floor. It should feel like it's flatter, like you can let go. If it is, if it responded to that stretch, then you know you're dealing with some fascia and muscles that you can change, that your roundedness isn't all structural bones. So yay, so this is good and hopeful. Now when you're ready, exhale and come on up to seated. And I've been doing the crab with you guys recently, so I'm gonna show that. I'm gonna get some props out of the way, and let me break it down so that if you wanna do part of it, you can. So let's say you wanna do the hip stretch. You can go forward into a hip stretch. We'll do that together for 10. Try to relax your hips. Now when you come up, switch your crisscross applesauce and try to relax for 10. This is our, we're just doing a stretch together, and then we can break it down when we do this whole movement called the crab. And as you're there, you're consciously relaxing. You're telling the Golgi tendon organs, hey, it's okay, you can let go. They usually tighten up when they sense a new range of motion, and you're letting them relax so they can receive this bigger range of motion. Now, if you care to have a little fun, make sure your space is good, little fun coordination move is the crab. You stay in close, so see how I'm not way out here, I'm in close. Now I've got my toes. I'm going to go back on my scapula, I'm going to recross, and then I'm going to go forward till I'm in a stretch. I like to touch the head to the mat, and then I'm going to come to a crab, cross my legs the other way, try to keep my little shins close to my torso, touch my head lightly, not aggressively, I'm just doing a stretch here. Exhale forward. Now you could do any part of this you want. Inhale, try to keep your shins close to your sternum as a challenge. And one more. Inhale. And then come up. Good, super fun, right? And that's also great for the brain. This next move is going to be Maldrasana. Maldrasana is officially a yoga pose. And let me show you all sorts of ways you can do it. So Maldrasana could be done modified on the forearm. The foot can come back and you can lift up. You won't get quite as much of a stretch, but it's better than a stick in the eye, as they say, but it's a good, you're working on form with plank, you're working on extension. The harder one is hand, and I do think even if you do forearms a lot, it is good to stress the wrists because you want to make sure they're strong. If you were to fall, you want some bone density in there. 5, 4, lift, lift, lift. Keep doing that back bend. 3, 2, here we go with a safe transition down. Let's go to the other side. The many options are forearm side plank, a foot back, a hand. Push into that hand and lift. Go into a back bend here. 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, in, lower that hip. Really good, terrific job. Hold on to the big toes. Lift up the feet. Now when you hold on to your big toe, you activate your posterior tibialis, which is an arch muscle, which helps prevent the arches from dropping. So you'll notice a lot of, and here I am switching it up. I'm cueing right and left if you'd like. And you're working on balance at the same time. So when you reach through the mound of your big toe, you activate your posterior tibialis. Shoulder blades down the back. And you know I'm a big carer of the feet because they are critical for balance and helping keep the joints elastic. So when you walk, that trampoline system on your feet absorbs some of the shock, that way your knees are super happy, your hips and low back are healthy. So if you care to make it a little harder, stay in narrow, and For me, one of my challenges is lengthen the knees. So if that's one of yours, try that, lengthen the knees. You want to never hurt the knee or the sit bone for that. You want to feel the hamstring belly muscle working. All right, coming closer, 5, woo, lengthen, 4, good guys, 3, good, 2, and 1. Super job. Let's grab a sip. I want to offer another fun coordination. You're doing great. This one is, let me move my roller. This one is a boomerang, and boomerang has lots of parts too. So you could cross your right ankle over your left, and we're going to touch this stretch. Do you feel your hamstrings? And so as I really relax here, my Golgi tendon organs start trusting this range of motion. They realize they're not going to get hurt, so they let me in a little bit. So I'm training the nervous system too, right? I'm training the nervous system and the muscles. Now inhale up and just cross your ankle the other way. Go forward. Everybody looks good. 10. Think about it as a nervous system acclimation, and as the muscles, the Golgi tendon organs. No joint should hurt. All right, here we go. And I'm going to switch the feet just so I can feel even. The move could be all together, and remember, you can do any of this, is to use your abs, roll back, and then your legs cross, and then you recross them, and then you come up and do a teaser. You hold, you lift your upper arms around to your low back, you have a little shoulder stretch, good. And then you go forward. Your hands are on the floor, you stack the spine, you roll back, go over to your shoulder blades only, never the neck, cross your ankles, go up, you're in a teaser, lift your arms while you balance, feel a shoulder stretch, exhale forward. Terrific, let's do it again. Go up and over. Recross the feet. We're doing 4 because that's an even number, and we're doing these ankle crosses over. So I like to make it even, and then this time you go over. If you're here's where you recross the ankles, come up to a teaser. Up, arms, hands, shoulder stretch. Go down. And you done good. Terrific job. All right, we're going to take a sip. Take your foam roller. We're going to do a reverse plank. And Cole, you might like your arc for your forearms. And then your ankles, ankle calf, are on this end. I like this for the Purvottanasana series, reverse plank, because of the knees. I don't even hyperextend naturally, but this helps me. So just see what you notice. Now, your hands are behind you and you lift. Good. Or you're on your arc on your forearms. Good. 5. Lift your hips a bit more, Betty, I think. Yep, that was it. Did you feel that? That was great. All right, inhale, and on your exhale, lower. Now I'm going to offer this forearm stretch again. So pull your fingers down. This is a great stretch if you do any gripping sports. Pull your other fingers down. Gripping sports or hobbies, even cast iron skillets, yeah. All right, get ready. We're gonna do this again with a possible leg pull variation. Let me just tell you too, the reverse table is another modification. I forgot to show that earlier. Okay, so come up. Now, if you would care to add on, lift up your leg. I'm gonna add a point and a flex because I'm working that ankle. I love the balance muscles. We love to nerve floss. We can get a lot of bang for our buck in a given exercise. Synovial fluid's pumping. Lymph nodes are pumping at the inguinal crease. One more. And then lower. Really good job, guys. Now sit any way you want. I want to offer a yoga pose that is also, this is a possibility right here, but if you care to add a yoga pose, do some type of semblance of right leg on top, so knee over knee, the feet are on either side. When I put down my hands, my feet are roughly right underneath. They're pretty even. Now I'm tight here, so I don't really rest, but if your knees rest, do that. Don't limit yourself because of your image that you see of me. So if your knees actually rest on each other, do it. My hip is preventing that just a little bit, but that's okay. I'm a good person. We're a good person. We're good people. Now this is the cow face on the upper body. And just notice I've got my right elbow up, left arm down. You can do it any way you want, but just note so that when we switch sides. Now try to relax your hips. You can see when I was talking, my hip was trying to come up. It's a reflexive, hey, are we okay? And then you're consciously telling your hips, we're okay, we're good, you're safe, you can relax, you're not getting injured. Just let it go. Like if you fall or trip, your muscles tighten up. That's why you sprain an ankle. But what we're doing is we're here, we're safe, we're letting the muscles relax. It's another way to say that is get comfortable with the discomfort, right? Good, Karen, I love that variation. All right, let me show you the really coolest thing. So this right leg's on top, right? So my hands are gonna get on the floor, I'm going over the way that my top foot is, touch the floor, pick up, end up this way. Wasn't that super? Yes, yep. Keep going, Mary Catherine. Yeah, Catherine, just keep going. You're like, really? Yeah, it's kind of like Twister, right? Okay, so now I help my knees out because the hips are like, hey, we're a little tight. Now they're relaxing. Other side, pat yourself on the back. Now your jawline is parallel to the floor. Another trick here is to do this kneeling, and then Karen, another trick would be like, all right, I'm gonna do it for 5 seconds. I feel like I'm sweating bullets, and then I get out, right? So there's all sorts of tricks. This used to be so hard for me. So I would get out quickly because I felt like I was creating more stress in my hips than I was helping. So the trick is try to relax it. Good, Karen, that was it. Breathe in, good, and that's, Michelle, that's great. 5. Yeah, try to feel tall here, so your jawline's parallel to the floor. Your head, it's gonna try to poke forward, but not on our watch. We're gonna pull it back. 5. Breathe fully. 4. Yeah, let that hip drop. Inhale. And then exhale, let it go. Really good. Shake everything out. Let's grab a little agua, a little bit of water. Nice. I want to put together a fun pattern with the foam roller. Then we're going to roll out a hip. So this is going to be a pattern. Your forearms are going to be down. So everything we've seen today, but we're putting it together for neuroplasty and for abs and scapular stability and all those good things integrated strength. And you're going to go forearm into a plank. Okay, so at first, bend your knees like you're doing an inchworm. So my roller starts kind of near my knees. Bend my knees straight under. Now go long. Now lift my hips straight up with long knees. Now bend your knees left, put it back. Bend your knees right, put it back. Lift your hips up and left, put it back, and up your hips to the right. All right, here we go. Bend the knees. Go plank. Lift the hips, go to plank. Now we have to switch sides. We're gonna bend the knees right, go to plank. Bend the knees left, go to plank. Lift the hips up right, go to plank. Lift the hips up left, go to plank. And now take a moment to pause, child's pose. We're gonna do that pattern one more time. Each left starting and then right starting. So go plank. Now you're going to bend your knees under, inchworm, and then go back to plank. Lift your hips up, go to plank. Bend your knees left, go to plank. Bend your knees right, go to plank. Lift your hips up left, go to plank. Lift your hips up right, go to plank. Now we do the second part, which is all the right side stuff. Bend the knees, plank. Lift the hips, plank. Bend the knees right, plank. Bend the knees left, plank. Lift the hips up right, plank. Lift the hips up left, plank, and recover. Nice job, guys. We're gonna stretch out a hip. Stretch and or foam roll out a hip. Grab a sip of your Egyptian licorice tea or whatever you have, coffee. And you can do a hip opener if you prefer not to do a foam rolling. This is one way to do it. Right ankle to left thigh. Roll that out. From sacrum, the heart-shaped bone at the base of the spine, to greater trochanter. Roll out that hip. And breathe. So you're rolling out the hip, you're stretching. That's one of the tricks. So you might want to roll out your right hip, Betty. But keep your legs the same. That's the trick. Yeah. So open up your knee to the side if it will. If it won't and it's up here, that's okay. But yeah, and then roll out the hip that you're stretching. Now, guys, we're going to take it to the other. Is one side tighter than the other? You roll all the way to the greater trochanter. You can feel some tightness there. The sacral to greater trochanter is piriformis, deep 6 external rotators. And then let's hit your left forearm on the mat. This is a IT lateral muscles here. I'll show you. So one way to do it is foot on the floor. That way this leg can press harder if it's so intense you can't take it. The black rollers are firmer. The blue ones, there's a couple different mediums and medium hard ones. Usually the white ones are easier. So you can even get different rollers. But another easy way to, if you have one roller, is just to manipulate how much pressure you put. So you can make it harder if you want. Now we're going to tilt forward a little bit. That's going to be lateral quad, vastus lateralis. You might even touch that TFL muscle near the front pocket. That's usually a tender muscle that needs some attention. Now if you roll back a little bit, like you're trying to turn your sternum towards the sky, you get that lateral hamstring. And that's a great one to get for hip or knee discomfort. That can be the culprit. IT can be the culprit too. A lot of times you can get rid of arthrogenic symptoms just by rolling out the fascia and the muscles. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's hit that other side. One thing you can do on the middle though, in the middle, so right here, if I do this, my left leg's longer now, which normally it's a tiny bit shorter. So I've released some tension. You can feel it. The leg is a little lower. Yay, that's good. We've got some proactive things we can do to help our joints. It's not always in the joints that the discomfort can come from. All right, we do a little, I like the foot down at first, then you can kind of scan. How's everything going? Go from your greater trochanter towards your knee, but leave a couple inches to the knee so you're not rolling out the knee. But if you have any knee issues, this one's a really good one. Catherine, it'd be good to hear how you feel with these. Now, if you roll down a little bit, it's more vastus lateralis, that lateral quad. And if you go up near your front pocket muscle, that's that TFL, tensor fascial lata. It's about 3-finger wide muscle. Breathe. Notice how you're using your Pilates form. Your shoulder blades are down the back, your belly's pulling in, so you're not sagging anywhere, your head's not drooping. Your shoulder blades are down the back. Okay, that one's a good one. How about that lateral hamstring? When you kind of tilt your sternum up, you're getting that back hamstring. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, going for the quads. All right, your forearms are on the mat, and notice how much it's like a plank with your scapular stability, your lumbopelvic stability. Now I'm going to show some different ways. Toe out, so your toes are pointing right and left as much as you can. Right toes right, left toes left. Now that's going to be more medial quad. And you can feel that sartorius sometimes, that longest muscle of the body, that long ropey muscle. Now, toes neutral, so all 10 toes, piggies are facing the floor. Now toe in, so you're pigeon-toed. Go back to neutral-ish, and then you can bend and straighten the knees if you want to try. See how that feels for you. Now go long, and then just bias the right quad a little bit more than the left. Bias the left quad a little bit more. Go back to neutral. And then come off of there and let's get our upper back. So take your roller at your upper back, and you may feel some popping happening on this. If it's a relieving feeling, go for it some more. So lift up your booty, hands behind your head. Now I'm going to roll out my upper back. Now I'm going to do an extension. I'm going to come back to neutral, roll a little bit more on my right scapula where the rhomboids attach, and roll on the left scapula. Now just for a moment, get that lat, which is underneath that armpit. It's kind of a twisting, it is a twisting muscle right here. So that part you can access, and if it's tight, it internally rotates the arm like a gorilla and creates shoulder tightness. So we're getting that lat, maybe even that lateral border of the scapula. See if you find any posterior deltoid. Teres minor has some attachments. We're just touching it. Let's hit the other side, guys. You're doing great. Just touch the other side. Lat attachment. So if you struggle with tight shoulders or inward shoulders or shoulder pain or back pain, actually, because the lat is the biggest muscle of the back and it attaches down here in the gluteal fascia and the sacrum, so it will create low back pain as well as shoulder pain. So we're getting it where we can access it without risking the ribs having too much pressure on them. So it twists right back here. Get your scapula, get your deltoid. Breathe. Nice. We're going to use this foam roller for nice things now. We're going to lie on it vertically. So this is head at one end, sacrum at the other, arms out like a big fat T or Y. And if you want to do an extra stretch, you can do a quad stretch here. Another thing you could do is just a bound angle. If that quad stretch isn't working, I'm going to throw in a quad stretch real quick. Do the other side first. 5. Breathe in through your nose. You can even let your eyes close here and enjoy. And let your mind have just a focus of breath. Or if you do better with a mantra, a mind tool, man is mind, tra is tool, you could think release, let go, relax. Try your other quad if you're doing a quad stretch. And then just take a moment to relax any way you want to, Shavasana or on the foam roller. Passive extension. Receive wellness. With your inhale, let go of anything that doesn't serve your highest good with your exhale. Let the mind have a chance to be clear and free. In that clear, free space, our natural vibration rises and we have access to all the creative solutions, creative ideas, just by giving ourselves this break. Breathe in fully, that energy of wellness. Exhale, let go anything that doesn't serve that. And then come up when you're ready, and you can sit any way you want. I'll just use the foam roller since it's here and it's handy. Just take a moment and the hand can go to the heart. Breathe in that energy of creativity, and we'll make an intention. I know in my highest aligned self, I'm a creative maker of life, and I'm going to be open and receptive to all of the creative ideas that come to me with so much appreciation. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Thanks. I think you did